Hello, today we'll be going through how to upload spreadsheets onto your address book. Okay, to start off, once you've logged in, if you go into your address book tab, please. Okay then, to upload spreadsheets, you need to go into the upload option, which should just be under the address book. There. Okay, this is where you upload the spreadsheets. The first thing you need to do is to choose whether to keep or delete your existing address books. If you choose to keep and update it, it will amend any existing contacts and update them based on your spreadsheet. If you choose to delete it, it will remove everything in your current address book and replace it with what's in your spreadsheet. We do offer a word of caution if you choose the delete option, because there's no way for us to get it back. Okay, once you decided whether to keep or delete, you then have a choice on file types. As you can see, there are 3 different file types available. The first file type I'll go through is the XML file type. We generally recommend to stay away from this because this is used for our XML connector. Most often this is set up with in direct talks with us, so it might be best to, if you do want to set up an XML connector, to get in contact with us. Okay, the CSV and the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet file, they generally use the same file, and this is on a spreadsheet. So what I'll do is I'll show you give you an example of a spreadsheet for this. Okay, this is an example spreadsheet. The basic format is what we recommend you to use when you upload your spreadsheet. As you can see, there's first names, last names, mobile phone numbers, emails, etc. The first column that I'll bring you to is the Unique ID tab. Now this is the most important column, as having a unique ID is very important in txttools. Each unique ID has to be unique to each contact. So for instance, if you have the first unique ID 11323, if you've already got a contact in your address book with unique ID 1123, that contact will be replaced by this contact. If it is the actual same contact with different information, any information will be updated. So for instance, if it's a change of mobile phone number or a change of email address, then it will be changed. The second most important column on this page is a mobile phone number, because obviously if you want to add a person onto txttools, they will either have to have a mobile phone number or an email address, and since we specialise in text messaging, mobile phone numbers are more important. We always recommend you to have a first name and a last name, because obviously if you've got a bunch of contacts as just unknown contacts, it's very hard to find out which contact is which. So if you're trying to send an individual message, you could get quite confused. A lot of the other columns are more trivial. If, for instance, you don't have their address or you don't want to input their address, it is not compulsory at all. It is just to aid you when you're using the application. So entering any of the other fields, for instance gender, address, city, country, postcode, date of birth, that is all up to you. The format of the spreadsheet, we do recommend to keep it in this general format. So that includes column orders and column sizes. If I just scroll across the spreadsheet, you should see an extra 3 columns: Group 1, Group 2 and Group 3. This is where you can add contacts that you're uploading into groups. Each contact can be added into as many groups as you like, and you can actually have as many groups as you like. So in the example there are 3 columns of groups, but if you wanted you could have 10, 20, 30, as many as you like. Or if you don't want any groups at all, you don't have to have any, it's not compulsory. Each group name that you see in the contact must be the same as in each contact. So for instance, you can see Equine Science for Bert Wheatley must be spelled exactly the same for, as an example, Annie Trout. If for instance there was a case difference or a spelling mistake, so if there's an S on the end, that would create a new group called Equine Sciences with a small s. So it's best to double check to make sure that all the group names are exactly the same. Okay, that's the general basis of the spreadsheet. Now we'll go back to txttools. So you now got your spreadsheet and you've formatted it in the best way possible. You're now stuck with two options, either to choose a CSV file or Microsoft Excel spreadsheet file. We always recommend to use a CSV file. Obviously there was more options available with CSV file, but we also occasionally have some problems when you're loading from an XLS file, because Microsoft Excel spreadsheet files contain loads of formatting, and unless the formatting is exactly perfect, it won't upload properly. Sometimes in XLS files, this formatting you can't actually see, so we do recommend as a CSV file. Okay, I will quickly demonstrate how to save a spreadsheet as a CSV file. So I'll go back onto the spreadsheet. I will go on File, Save As. I'll choose a file name, and then I'll click on Save as Type. The little arrow there should bring in a lot of different file types. I will scroll down to Text CSV, select that, and then click Save. Then now comes an option asking me, confirming that I want to change the file type to a CSV. Just click Yes. I get to choose the delimiters, but we recommend you keep them as normal, and click OK, and click OK again. And that file is now saved as a CSV file. So if I go back onto txttools, and I make sure CSV file is selected. Okay, then I have two other options. You have skip first line or Microsoft Excel generated. Skip first line is the option to skip the first line of the spreadsheet. So if I go back on the spreadsheet, you can see that on the first line it's got the headers of each column. So if you choose skip first line, it will skip this first line, so those headers won't be added to contact. If, for instance, you don't have these headers, we recommend you to leave skip first line unchecked, but if you do, it's best to check check skip first line. Otherwise, you'll get a contact called first name, last name, mobile number, email, etc. Okay, the next option is Microsoft Excel generated. We do recommend you to select Microsoft Excel generated if you created a CSV file in Excel. This is just a precaution to save any errors happening in the future processes. So just check that. Okay, you now have chosen your options, and now you get to browse your file. So you click on Browse, you found the file, make sure it's a CSV version, and click Open. And then you can hit Continue. Okay, on this page, it brings up a preview of the first 5 lines of the spreadsheet. So you can see it's got Beryl Wilson, Anna Szabo, Arnie Trout, Dwayne Dribley, and Bert Wheatley. On this page, you get to state which header belongs to which column. So if I go to field 1, and I can see that they are first names, I click on the drop down box and I click first name. I then repeat the process for each column, making sure that everything is correct. Etc. For the groups, you can just click group name, and it will load it for each of them. And always make sure that you've got unique ID selected. Okay, for this example, I will be leaving off all the trivial pieces of information, so the dates of births, the addresses, etc. Once you're happy with that, you go to the bottom of the page and click Continue. Okay, this should bring a preview of all the contacts you're uploading, the information that has been uploaded. It's always worth having a quick check through all the contacts to make sure that everything looks fine. So if, for instance, you come on here and you see the surnames are actually phone numbers, it might be worth to scroll to the bottom of the page and click back and change it back to how it should be. But if you're happy with it, then you can just click Continue. Okay, you can now see that all the contacts have been uploaded onto the address book. I hope you found this very helpful. Thank you.